minutes of cutscenes again.
Once upon a time, the infamous rover Renardo plundered the floating isles. Then his mother called him to her deathbed. "Swear to me that you won't die on the gallows," she rasped. Reluctantly, he swore. And he whiled away his days at home with music, cars, and wine.
I gotta be a little bit more careful on that strat. I'm not even sure how much time it saves, but we'll see.
He built universities. Then people started.
By we'll see, I mean we won't see, because I'm not ever going to try the non-fast strat.
Victims screaming.
I feel like that would probably only save like a couple seconds at most, but it's right at the start of the game and it looks cool.
The ravens had come to Ubar scouting for ancient books said to be of great power. The librarians had hidden the books, so they burnt the librarians. The citizens, outraged, had driven them off. The ravens had come back with dropships. The kid had fled with one of those books. He was brave and dumb and wanted to join the rebellion. Bernardo had promised his mother he'd protect him.
Yeah, I think the studio that made this game is a pretty small one, so I don't know, maybe they just don't have the knowledge to make load times good. It's like I was really surprised when I watched... Oh, wait, what? Was that load time just like way faster than last time? Or was that just me?
Look, if we give them the book, they'll leave you alone. My mother died for this book! I promise her I'll protect you. Oh, damn it. The kid had run off. With the book, of course. So Renardo had to run off.
Because if it's the case that that load time was a lot faster, then that's kinda bad. Okay, let's see if I can not soft lock the game this time.
He was their dinner, which probably was what was in their tiny brains. Hey,
Good.
Renardo said.
Let's not kill them
Their
yet.
head down. Pick on someone as ugly as you. Wait, think of it, right? For the Emperor! The ravens cawed and rushed at him.
There we go. I don't think this is the best spot to be in for that, but it works.
A dropship flew overhead. He hoped they hadn't noticed him. The kid.
Yeah, technically the leaderboards, apparently they use a timing that loads in like... Hang on, this... I'm gonna explain this later while I'm not trying to walk around in cutscenes.
A gated community. You needed a hero's sword to open it. And the kid...
I can't see where I am right now. Okay, there we go.
Let you through. War and wind. Perfect. A hero's sword. QED.
Alright, I made that sword. Then what do I do now? Okay, I think I get it. So yeah, you can walk around during that cutscene and make the sword while you're doing that cutscene. It's like a lot of cutscenes you can walk around in if you just pause and unpause the game.
He came up to a ledge. It was too far.
It helps in a lot of them.
There'd been a bridge here before.
For some reason, I think there's one later in this where you can't walk around, but you can, like, move still. But yeah, I think the leaderboards, they technically use a timing that starts like after that load time, but I can't make sense of where they start their timer because they have no rules defined on the leaderboards.
It was time to talk some sense into the kid.
So I just start on file select timing because it's easy.
Thing was, he hadn't used his hook since he'd retired. Maybe if he meditated at that altar there. He'd remember his old skills.
Although if load times are that inconsistent over the course of the whole run, then that one really isn't that big of a deal
Back to something you never completely forgot, like how to
in the
freeze
long
time
run.
when attacking. The more he fought, the more he'd probably remember. And there was the Farfarer. She was the fastest ship he'd ever known. She could do the Kessel run in 12 furlongs. So the salesman told him. And something told him the kid was about to walk into an ambush.
It's like, from what I heard, apparently on this cutscene you can walk around in this cutscene on PC, but you can't on PS4, which is really weird, but we can work with it.
And a goggler nailed him with its eyes. The book was unburned. Next to it were the buckles from the kid's shoes.
See, I can't walk in this cutscene. I have to move forward with my sword
Hadn't he lied and told him
and try to get over to the ship, which I can't see from this angle.
the kid would be alive now? Really pissed off.
And that's the tutorial.
Big deal about this book anyway. Maybe he should open it. Find out. All that had been years ago. How many? Oh, it's a blur. And now 3 Raven scout ship rebellion was out of time. Less than out of bring a game changer.
So yeah, that was one cutscene you could skip. Also, a random screen of blueness, which I think has something to do with the glitches you use to get through the tutorial, I guess.
Surely a legendary weapon could win the final battle. On the other hand, his old friend Lupino had sent Renato a desperate message saying he had a brilliant scheme to save the rebellion. If Renato could only rescue him. Renato dived the Farfarer towards the abyss. As he felt the heat of the jet stream, the Raven ships peeled off, not stable enough to follow him down there. Now it was time to choose. Lupino or the Sky River.
Alright. Also, I created a new profile to play this game, so I guess I'm gonna earn trophies in this speed run. Seems good.
As he set foot on the island, Renato could not help but feel a tinge of guilt. He left Lupino behind. He hoped the Mad Rabbit had somehow escaped the Ravens. He hoped they hadn't eaten him. If they had, he hoped they hadn't eaten him alive. Why had he chosen the Sky Ripper? Renato never made plans that required constant vigilance. He was a hero. He didn't think too much. He just went with his gut and hoped it all worked out. The Sky Ripper was a long shot. He'd have to devote himself to it. No side journeys, no rescuing old friends. That was against his nature. Could he stick with it? The people who had built this castle, did they even know what monstrous weapon lay hidden within their walls? The Sky Ripper could destroy anything it touched, or so the legend said.
Yeah, this is fun so far, but I'm just realizing how little there really is to talk about in a lot of this run.
Renato had been through wars. The only merciful war was a short one. Renato felt new powers ready to blossom within him, or something.
Okay, I'm gonna have to try to not die here, so I'm gonna slow down a bit and hope for the best. Running through these enemies is not always the best idea, but it's faster.
Renato felt surprisingly unwounded.
I might need health at some point. I don't think this game automatically regenerates your health too much. It did after the tutorial, but I don't think it does in general.
Starting to come back to it. Something you never completely forgot. Like how to freeze time when attacking. The more you fought, the more there it was. Sky Ripper's armature. The stuff that dreamed of it. And yet, how is it part of a weapon at all? He'd have to ask a scientist. First, he'd get the second piece. Sky Ripper had a heart. A core that had come to rest in the next island. Well, there was another island he could reach. Zenobia had just invaded it with her father's Raven battalions. She must be encamped there still. But fighting Zenobia now, that made no sense at all. He'd already sacrificed one friend to get this armature, was it? He didn't need to hurry to face her.
This is a good thing when it comes to all these splits. I don't really need sub-splits, but having all of these splits for each of these decisions definitely helps to remember what decisions I'm supposed to make in the first place. Otherwise, they would be pretty easy to forget, especially on a first run.
He looked up at the old trees around him. They were so big and so old. They'd been there before he was born, and they'd be there after he'd passed into legend. Was he confronted?
I don't actually know if I'm supposed to jump down here, but let's do it.
He was no philosopher. Anyway, who cares? He was plenty important. He was a hero. And still he'd prove it.
I don't actually know if this is the faster way to go, but it could be.
There was something sour in the
It's
air.
possible that this is how I'm supposed to do this.
There was something that had been fermenting for a very long time.
I have no memory of where I'm supposed to actually go, but we'll just hope for the best here.
Already Ronaldo knew more than he ever had. There were fewer and fewer trees. There were only these huge crystalline growths. Had those been here before? He no longer heard birds except for the feverish cawing of the ravens when they attacked. He couldn't smell the small animals of the forest. The mice and rabbits. Where had they gone? He was getting hungry too. This was an unhealthy place to be.
That was not very fast. That was not very fast at all. Whatever, it's fine.
The 20-sided core made him feel physically sick. Once he had sneaked into a temple of the dark art, and he carried his prize back to the Farfair. Now, he had to make his next move. There was a key Imperial outpost on the Nexus. If this really was some sort of super weapon, he could use it to wreak havoc on the enemy. And if it wasn't, well, better to know that before the final battle. But maybe he should show it to some scientists first.
Yeah, good plan.
There was
Show
a
the
portal
scientists.
in the Nexus. Maybe he should go there before he fired it.
Don't really know the route for this either. I don't know the route for most of the actual levels, I just know which decisions I'm supposed to make. I know there's some spots where you can skip fights, but I don't actually remember how to do it, or which spots, so I don't have enough information to actually help me.
The parts of the Sky Ripper only surfaced now, thousands of years after the Transcendent Emperor had dismantled it. The mad Emperor Eisenbrin had performed terrible.
I could use some health. That's a good idea. Lose a little bit of time for it, but I don't want to do everything on 12 health.
Rising out of the ground. How perfect then that the Sky Ripper would reappear to be his destruction. Barely landed a claw on him.
Why am I going so slow? I'm confused. Why was I not able to actually move well there? Ah, whatever. It's fine. We're back at a point where health isn't an issue, so I can ignore that for a while.
A legendary weapon was exactly what the rebellion needed. They were outnumbered. The once kind emperor had become a tyrant. But his ravens stayed loyal, for he fed them his victims, and the other animals were too frightened to rebel. Renato shuddered at what the emperor was trying to do. To bring back the lost gods, the Black Harvest, the Black Sun. No. He would stop that toad, no matter what the...
There's also a fair bit of cutscenes where I haven't actually done any sort of practice or experimenting on how you're supposed to move during them, so I might not do those. I don't know.
Renato's path was clear.
Thanks, Boone.
Scientists ensure the Sky Ripper was safe to use. Bring it to the
Probably be dashing here.
Then assault the Imperial fleet for the win.
Alright. Probably want to be careful not to take damage here. Just because I know dying is pretty slow. I don't know how slow, I guess it really depends on where you die, but overall I'd say it's probably worth it to not die. If you can help it. Yeah, I don't know where I am. I think I'm supposed to be able to kill this guy during this cutscene, but I had no idea where I was, so that kind of didn't happen. It's fine.
This thing really needed a roof.
I think I have to know where I am and know where the enemy I'm holding is relative to where the enemy spawns. Oh, you have to interact with this door. Oops. I did like 2 to 3 things wrong right there. Like I went out of my way to spawn health, but then I didn't actually pick up the health. So that didn't help.
If anyone could tell him how to use this weapon safely, it would be Calaveras. It was he who had told Renato how to find it in the first place. But maybe he had to give up on using it as a weapon. Maybe he had to go to the secret rebel base and ask the generals there what he could do with a weapon that he dared not use.
You know, for a game like this, if the load times really are inconsistent, as it seemed like they were earlier, but I don't actually have any proof on, if they really are that inconsistent, I could see this game in the future maybe switching to a timing method where they have to eliminate load times, which is really inconvenient, but I can see why it could be necessary.
Renato wondered if he could learn to cook this way. A raven called, "There he is!" They ran away. Or they knew he had the cord, didn't they? And they were afraid of it. Little did they know, he couldn't use it. Wait, if they didn't know he couldn't use it, yes. A sword can be powerful without ever being drawn from its scabbard. Long stairs. So he was close to the rebel base. It was on fire. far so good.
Good. That wasn't too bad, I don't think. I hope. Oh, that was a late split. I thought I hit the button the first time, but I actually didn't. Ah well, it's fine.
Renato barely made it to the hideout when he was shoved into a meeting room.
This isn't a game where I know how to split consistently at all anyway.
Left the Emperor with an unusable weapon. Yeah, it's brilliant. Laughed Renato. He keeps sending ravens, and none of them come back. How does he know it's my sword?
I suppose there's no harm if it fails. Take the Sky River into a firing position.
Croaked the speaker.
I shall attempt to hail him by far, Speaker.
It was a huge bluff. Renato had no cards to play. Just a weapon that could maybe destroy everything he hated and everything he loved. Would he be sure it wouldn't work? No, of course not. Of course the Emperor couldn't be sure it wouldn't work, and he must believe in ancient weapons if he hoped to bring back the lost gods, right?
Sure, why not? Let's go with that. I guess that cutscene's completely unskippable. Some of them are like partially skippable, and then some of them just aren't. I guess for the most part, it's consistent which ones are partially skippable, from what I can think of off the top of my head. I guess this cutscene doesn't have any choice to it, so you can't skip the part before they explain the choice.
To the authorizing of the third. Now you would have to step down, obviously. And accept the rebellion? Is that asking too much? Maybe Renato would ask him to make Zenobia Empress. His daughter, after all. She would never sacrifice innocent kittens and puppies to bring back the lost gods. Renato had to seem confident.
I don't know what I actually want to buy there. I just took health because... Oh, I think this is a place where you can skip this fight. Whoops. And this is a lot of enemies, so it would definitely save a lot of time to skip this fight. Especially if I die to it. Yeah, that's bad. I'm pretty sure you can skip that fight. I'm probably going to die because I didn't. On the other hand, whatever.
They'd run out of budget for guardrails.
Yeah, I think this is a fight you can skip, but I don't know how to do that either. Yeah. Oh wow, I'm alive. Whoops. I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't ready for that hit to not kill me. So yeah, I think I just lost a ton of time to not skipping those fights, but I don't actually know how to do it.
So much more humane than destroying a ship or an entire fleet. And then he would destroy the Sky River in case some other adventurer was tempted. You never knew about some.
Alright, that's just ore. That's not gonna help me at all.
It will all be over. What else could you hook?
Yeah, I'll take some health. Whatever. It's fine. Maybe this is the one you're supposed to be able to skip. Either way, I didn't skip it, so... I just don't know. I don't know anything about how to skip the fights you can skip. Aside from knowing there's a way to do it, that's all I know. I don't know how precise it is or what movement you're supposed to do. I just know that it's possible. And I have a general idea of where it's possible. That's as far as my knowledge goes.
Funny that this whole war had come about because the Emperor feared death. Now it was coming for him. It was some sort of...
Oh, that's a shield guy. This isn't gonna help me. stop doing this attack. Did the shield guy hit me there? It didn't seem like he was attacking. Oh, yeah, that's a big time loss. Like, I countered the other one, but the guy with the shield didn't even look like he was attacking, and I still died. I'm a little bit confused. Maybe he was still attacking from before, and it just wasn't showing that he was attacking anymore. Because the cutscene messed with the whole thing. That's very possible. We're just gonna go with that.
He set up the Sky Ripper and let it warm up. Zenobia came out, flanked by a whole platoon of ravens. I know you, Renato. You won't actually use that, she said. I know what the scientists told you. That it would totally blow up your fleet. You're reckless, Renato. Bold. Dashing. Brave. Devil-may-care. Wild. Impulsive. Hasty. Rash. Sometimes even a little harebrained. A bit feckless even. You just don't think things through. Oh, get to the point, woman. But you're not crazy. How do you know I didn't go crazy? Demanded Renato, doing his very best to look crazy. We'll go ahead then. Press the trigger. Oh, damn her. She seen through him again. She never fell for his bluffs. This was the moment to do something brilliant. To come up with exactly the right thing to say, to make a heroic move. That's what heroes do. But he couldn't think of anything that wasn't obviously stupid. He was too shocked to move. Her ravens came and seized the Sky Ripper. He stared as they pushed it over the side into the abyss. Hey! I fought really hard to get that. It should never have come back. And yet to admit she was right. She had always been right. It was one of the frustrating things about her. Years later, as he rotted to his death in an Imperial prison cell, Renato was still trying to come up with something clever and heroic that he could have done in that last moment. But he never could. Okay, that was weird. I could have sworn he just died. Instead he was on the Farfarer, sailing away from Ubar.
I think I'm supposed to quit to the menu and reload here. I don't know exactly where you're supposed to do that. I just saw the save prompt, so I assume this is okay. Of course, I don't know if this is faster if the load times take that long.
Parted over the Isles of Boreas. It was time to choose. The rebellion was in trouble. Ravens were scouting for the secret rebel base. They needed a game changer. Pieces of the Sky Ripper had surfaced. Renato knew that using it could go catastrophically wrong. But he was sure he could figure out how to use it safely. Also, a temple had risen out of empty desert. The Emperor had brought the Sky Ripper pieces up out of ancient burial by his obscene rituals. Could this be where the Iblis stone was hidden? Someone better get it before he does, thought Renato. On the other hand, his old friend Lapino needed rescuing. Lapino was no game changer, but could Renato really leave an old friend to the Ravens? As he set foot in the island,
Okay, I can skip that cutscene, right? I should probably do that.
he left Lapino behind. He hoped the Mad Rabbit had somehow escaped the Ravens. He hoped they hadn't eaten him. If they had, he hoped they hadn't eaten him alive. Why had he chosen the Sky River? Renato never made plans that required constant vigilance. He was a hero. He didn't think too much. He just went with his gut and hoped it all worked out.
like that. Okay, I guess at the end of every story, it resets your health.
No side journey.
That makes
no
sense.
Rescuing old friends. That was against his nature. Could he stick with it? The people. Huh? Believer?
So it's not like I never get extra health. I want shield hooking. More stamina. We'll go with that. I didn't actually put too much thought into what skills I want to buy with my level ups. Maybe that's something I should have put more thought into. But this is fine.
These things really slice like ham.
I don't know, I feel like this is a game where my splits won't really be consistent because once I learn how to do fight skips, I won't have as many levels on future runs because I won't get the experience from those fights if I skip them, so it might make the next splits inaccurate.
He'd have to ask a scientist.
It's hard to say.
He'd get the second piece.
It's one of those... It's also one of those games where there's like
Next island.
a really, really high amount of routing possibilities, so it's hard to say for sure what route could possibly even be fastest.
She must be encamped there still. But fighting Zenobia now, that made no sense at all. He'd already sacrificed one friend to get this armature, was it? He didn't need to hurry to face her. She would find him.
I'm definitely using a different skill route than the record does, but I don't know if that's a good idea. I just really don't like the skills that they get. Mainly the last one, although it is a lot faster if it works properly, but it makes it a lot easier to die, I think, as well. So I don't really like that.
He wanted to see her, wasn't it? It had been a dozen years since Sword through school. He'd followed every rumor about her, every scrap of news. Not that he still loved her. After all, she was his enemy. No, it was solely because know your enemy. It would be great to see her, even if they faced off across sword points as they'd done so many times at school. The world was a less interesting place without her. Leonardo wasn't entirely sure how he was going to capture Zenobia. She'd be expecting him.
I meant to destroy that stuff
A clever plan.
and get possible health drops out of it, but that's okay.
The results tended to be disastrous. These streets were familiar. The sword
Oh my god. Health drops would be really helpful if I'm fighting this badly.
He knew that hub. He knew that alley. He knew the alley behind it much too well.
Yeah. Feel like it's worth stopping for that health.
Made this island herself. Renato slinked through Zenobia's ship, making no sound at all. Where were her guards? That makes no sense. It's a trap, shouted the Emperor. I'll meet you at the outpost, and I'll bring my interrogators. If Renato came face to face with the Emperor, maybe he could assassinate him. But maybe it would be smarter and safer to turn Zenobia against her father.
Sure is a long black screen. What the hell? What? This is new. Let's reload the game, I guess. This is gonna lose like a minute. Hopefully it loads from where I left off, because I just somehow broke the game. Let's not press any buttons in the cutscene this time, and the loading screens maybe. Let's just not touch anything until it loads. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I lost like a minute to accidentally breaking the game. It's okay. For some reason, I was mashing the button to skip the cutscene before the cutscene loaded, and that made the world not load properly, so the thing that's following me around loaded into the world, but nothing else did, and I couldn't move, and it was giving me an option to skip the cutscene, but every time I did that, it just reloaded the same screen where I still couldn't do anything. I think this is a fight you can skip, but well, again, I have no idea how to do it, so thought I'd be able to kill that guy there before I got attacked. I can't hook back. I needed those health drops. I'm playing very badly. I have no idea what I'm doing. I feel like if I learn to run this game again, the one thing I should prioritize is learning how to do those fight skips, because I'm assuming they're... I guess it's technically possible that they might only be PC, but I don't know. I think I've heard that they're possible on PS4 as well, so I should learn how to do them, because those would save a lot of time over the course of the run. Oh my god, I'm gonna die to these things. Doing very bad at basic dodging right now. Down to 10 health.
Some people are just liable to explode if you upset them.
Okay, that guy's gonna explode. Then we try to kill the other guys before they kill us, because we're very close to dying and one hit will kill me. Let's not be in the explosions. Yeah, that's true. Especially when I didn't learn most things about this game. I learned like a few very basic strats, that's about it. The rest I'm just kind of trying to wing it. I learned the route, I guess you could say. Oh, I should split there. I was just hoping there would be health drops, but I guess maybe they can't even spawn there.
The observatory was a burning hulk. Dead scientists
On this path anyway.
everywhere.
Because you don't have to interact with the door on this path.
Let's go to the fleet and ask him. Yes. I'll meet you on the mountains. There's something I have to get first. But could he afford to meet her in the mountains? He'd given the Empire the location of the secret...
I feel like with 10 health, I should like intentionally die somewhere. Somewhere that it's not very slow to die, so I could... I don't know, it only refills half your health when you die, so maybe I should just try for health drops. It's hard to say.
Was it true? Was he on this adventure just to see Zenobia again? The Imperial Air was not an easy catch to see. She'd ignored all his Kwanzaa gifts. Trying to get a date by joining the war against your intended was pretty optimistic. But the backball.
There's still an enemy.
Good. I'm so glad we had this little chat, he told himself.
I don't know where the best place to look for health drops would be, though. I'm just
With an address.
hoping I find some. There's one. One did not make a difference because I'm pretty sure these guys deal 20 damage with a hit. So having 20 health doesn't help you survive very well. That's interesting. I guess the shield guys can sometimes attack without showing that they're going to attack. Seems like that's what they're doing anyway. But yeah, it's deceptively difficult as well to actually hit the shield guys. Because a lot of times I'm throwing an enemy in that direction and it just auto-locks to a completely different enemy.
There were a lot of dead ravens along the side of the road. Someone had rampaged through here on a killing spree. What had Zenobia gone to get? He had a chilling feel.
I think this next platform is another spot where you can skip a fight, but I haven't figured out how to do any of them yet, so it's not likely to happen this time. Oh wait, maybe this is a different platform. Yeah, this takes you somewhere else on this ending. Never mind.
Now his blood was up. He just needed to smash something.
Okay, there's some good health drops. We can live for a little bit now. Oh, that's really helpful. Okay, now we're nearly full health, so I should be fine to not die for a while unless I just do everything wrong.
What were these poles exactly? Parking meters from the time of the lost gods?
Let's go for more health, I guess. I don't know.
He reached the summit, expecting no one. But there she was, stealing, pacing. I'm gonna kill him, she said. I'm gonna kill all his ravens, and then him, and then his family, and all their eggs and tadpoles. Then I'm gonna burn down their pond. Did you go and get the Iblis stone? You see, all these ravens I killed. So much power. Are you feeling normal? Because you seem a little bloodthirsty.
Just a little.
Yes, obviously it wants blood. Demons always want blood. You really want power from a demonic rock? You want the stone, don't you? Not really. Good. I'd rather not have to kill you. He told her he loved her. That he wouldn't let the Iblis stone take her, even if he had to die for it. Well, he planned to tell her. Now didn't seem like the right time. She'd probably cool off in a bit. So he let her get in a ship and fly off. He rushed back to the Farfarer,
That's one plan.
keeping a healthy distance. Zenobia's ship was just visible through the clouds ahead. How could he reason with her? But he had to. The rebels were down for the count. No wonder. He betrayed the location of their base and then he'd abandoned them. And if she became Empress while she was in the grip of the Iblis Stone, if she became Empress by murdering her father, she could...
Yeah, this really isn't a good run by any standards,
She could
but
also be a nightmare.
I could still get like a 2.5 hour time or something. I should check what last place actually is at some point.
There were more dead ravens along his path, some of them wounded in the back. He knew she could have easily talked her way past them, or clouded the little tiny raven brains with a spell. She was going out of her way to kill everything in her path. This wasn't Zenobia. Not as he knew her. The portal was heavily guarded. Must go someplace they really didn't want it to go. That was always a rush. Beloved was possessed by the spirit of a demon. That's what it meant to be a hero. To brave the darkness in your loved one's soul. To have faith there was still good in her. To help her out of that darkness, no matter what the cost. But what? What could he do? She'd kill him if he tried to take the Iblis stone from her. There was an inscription. No spitting.
Yeah, one thing I can say now that I've actually run this game is that the fight skips are a lot harder than they look, because I haven't gotten a single one, and they look like you basically just walk around and the enemies don't spawn, but clearly there's a lot more to it than that. Alright, so I'm like, I don't know. No, it really is as simple as that on that.
You'll hate yourself in the morning. Stay back! She screamed in a horrible voice he'd never heard before. It froze him in his tracks. The Emperor stared at him. Run, he told the toad, or hop.
Alright, I'm something like 5 minutes behind world record, but it makes sense since I don't know how to do a single fight skip, and I think that's most of what it is. I also don't know the route. That would make sense.
She laughed at him. No more use for you. There was something he needed to do.
I have died a few times, but I feel like
So he did as he was told. As he walked away,
I feel like world record also does that more than a few times.
the light in the sky seems to dim. He didn't dare turn. He had a nagging feeling there was something he should have done just then. Something heroic. But he could not have taken the Iblis stone from her by force. And she would not have parted with it willingly. A cold wind blew from where she had been. But he still didn't dare turn. And then, an awful laughter filled the air. And all the torches and all the ships went out. And he realized what he should have done. But by then, it was too late to do anything. Renato stared at the book. He was still alive. Again. And still only flying away from burning Ubar. Had he lived that adventure? The clouds parted over the Isles of Boreas. It was time to
I have to go for the
the rebellion
third
was in
thing.
trouble. Ravens were scouting for the secret rebel base. They needed a game changer. Pieces of the Sky Ripper had surfaced. Ronaldo knew that using it could go catastrophically wrong. But he was sure he could figure out how to use it safely. Also, a temple had risen out of the empty desert. The Emperor had brought the Sky Ripper pieces up out of ancient burial by his obscene rituals. Could this be where the Iblis Stone was hidden? Someone better get it before he does, thought Renato. On the other hand, his old friend Lapino needed rescuing. Lapino was no game changer, but could Renato really leave an old friend to the Ravens? Every child could sing verses about the Sky Ripper, but ancient codices held hints of other things. A stone that ate souls, a ruby that drank blood, a jewel only a righteous man could give away. Were all these things the Iblis Stone? Long hidden in the buried temple. Another ancient item that was only resurfacing now. Drawn up from the deeps by the Emperor's horrific rituals. I think this is yours, said Renato, but he couldn't hear his enemy's answer. The Ravens were already here, cawing in frustration.
I really
Still searching for a way in.
don't understand most of what I'm supposed to do in this game. Whoops, I have another skill point. I might have to actually look into this, because I did say I was going to decide whether I do more runs on whether this was fun or not, but yeah, this is fun so far, so I'm probably going to want to do another run at some point. Oh wow, I didn't even know something like that was possible. I think I just, like, countered 2 attacks at once. That was a interesting fight. That didn't go well. But at least I'm not dying. Yet.
Hope his hook didn't break.
That was not the plan. I didn't expect that guy would explode there. I've heard there's probably time save in it.
Obviously,
I guess. I don't know.
deal with Tomb Raiders.
I don't really watch a lot of runs.
This would be the perfect place for a tic-tac-toe board.
Alright, let's do this. I think you're just supposed to go. Yeah, that worked. I think there's supposed to be a puzzle there, but you don't have to do it.
The purest blackness. It reflected no light. Like a void made. It was the stone. Eager. Thirsty. That seemed tempting and terribly wrong. Zenobia was the Emperor's greatest general and a potent witch. But they had been close once, and Renato wasn't sure he really wanted to be Emperor. Why not capture the core of Skyripper instead? It was the eye of a lost god torn out by the Transcendent Emperor to power his greatest weapon. "It's the core," said the stone anxiously. As he placed the impossibly black crystal in his gauntlet, Renato had a sudden vision. Charred fields covered in dead ravens below a black sun. Was it the time of the lost gods, before the Transcendent Emperor? Was it the future? Feed the souls, it whispered. Take the power. He could feel the stone's hunger for souls, its thirst for blood. All right, I get it. This was going to be interesting. What was really fun was hooking yourself onto a moving ship. On Zenobia's island were no match for Renato. They screamed as the stones sucked out their souls. And with each death, he felt stronger. Take the power, the stone told him. He couldn't do worse with Zenobia than he'd done with the core, could he? If they didn't want their things broken, they really ought to make them stronger. Zenobia was waiting. Can't we just agree to disagree? Said Renato. No? Finally, Renato caught up to her. He had never seen her scared before. At school, she'd been the determined, brave... Please. No, said Zenobia. Not that way. Oh, they had been so close once. Could he really feed her soul to his demonic gem? But if he spared her, he would not get the full power of the stone. Oh, how could he be the hero he wanted to be? With a
I broke the game again. I think I have to remember to not try to skip cutscenes before they start, because apparently that breaks the game. So I have to waste like a minute reloading again.
The Nexus was beautiful. He'd never realized how beautiful. Everything glowed. The wind was so sweet. The sun so soft. The stones so warm. The black raven feathers. Black feathers. Suddenly, his eyes are filled with them. He's falling through smoke, under a dead sun. A voice calls him home. Is this a vision? Whose? Is this the time of the lost gods? Or the future? No matter. What mattered now was killing his way to the Imperial outpost and challenging the Emperor from there. Up ahead. This was much easier.
That's the one good thing about this route, is on this route you get health from healing enemies, so I don't really have to worry about health drops, as long as I don't play really badly. That's helpful.
Renato rampaged through the Imperial outpost like a water buffalo rampaging. At the last moment, but there was only silence. The Emperor was scared, like little girl. Well, he would gather the rebel army and slaughter the Imperial fleet. Yes! Applauded the Iblistone. Tremendous. Then the Emperor would have to answer his far speaker, wouldn't he? Who are you? Asked a distant voice that sounded uncomfortably like Zenobia. What have you become? The mountains. Go to the mountains, urged another that sounded a bit like Lapino. The ruins were crawling with ravens. Probably looking for the secret base, Renato thought. But then he realized they're probably looking for me. They must be very scared of me. Well, here I am. Whispered the Iblistone. And he had to agree with it, for once. Who was as good as Renato? Was the best friend he'd ever had. Really? Who would bury such a treasure? You are the best, urged the stone.
I think I remember wondering why World Record went this way, but apparently on this specific route in this specific way, the other path is blocked. Not exactly sure why, but if there's a story reason for it, I don't know it, but apparently it's a thing.
By making war. Not counting the transcendent emperor, obviously, who had banished the lost gods and started time. Yes, he should be emperor.
So there's normally another route that's faster, but for some reason you can't go that way here.
Long stairs.
So yeah, I'm way behind at this point.
Was on fire. So far, so good.
This run's not very good.
Your shield.
If only I could get these things to die, would really help. Oh my god, where is this guy going? Yeah, I don't think this extra health is a good idea. I think if I do another run, I'll probably spend those skill points somewhere helpful instead. I guess the extra health is good when I play really badly, which here is kind of the case, but I feel like in general I could probably... I don't know, I don't like the ability that the speedrun actually uses at a high level, but I might not have a choice.
He meant to bring that up later. Let's go win this
I
rebellion.
mean, it's clearly faster, even if it is riskier, difficult, but I think that's probably the only way to go.
No one to cut down. Well then, he'd have to attack the fleet alone. More for me, he said. Unless it was the stone that said it. Traitors. Traitors, all of them. They'd run rather than following him, rather than cheering him. What should he do to the cowards? Anything he wanted to. After all, he was a true hero, the best warrior there ever was. No one could stop him now. But first, finish him. The Emperor, that is.
This might not be sub 2 pace, but I should still be pretty easily sub 2.5 hour pace if I don't really screw up late
Where
game.
was the rebel fleet? They weren't even trying an assault. They were going to miss a day in history. The downfall of this dynasty. And a new one to take its place. He didn't have to kill all the ravens. He could enslave them. And enslave the toads too. All the animals would worship him as a god. For he had once been a god. He would willingly give him their blood and their soul.
Okay, I got that fight
The
skip.
world would change
That's the first fight skip I've gotten this whole run,
again.
but it's something. It at least helps me understand how it works.
These needed to construct additional pylons.
I think I'm supposed to go further the other way. Wow, that's actually a lot faster. Throw that bomb in a way that detonates everybody. It's not what I did on purpose, but definitely helped go fast, although it did do damage to me, but I don't think health is really too relevant here.
Hero. He was going to become a god again.
Not on this path.
Odd, he thought, that the Iblis Stone had nothing to say about any of this. Well, no matter. Once he killed this petty toad emperor.
Pretty sure it's not here. You're supposed to skip a fight. Yeah, no. Oh, there's more. Wait, why did that not kick him back? Whatever, it's fine.
Take a leap of faith, said the inscription.
Yeah, I feel like I probably should just do the extra combat skills rather than the skills that I bought this run, because I feel like having extra stamina for dashing really isn't that useful in a lot of places. I mean, there's plenty of places where it is useful, but I don't think it saves that much time compared to being able to do fights quickly. Alright, now we got some more cutscenes. We got 2 more endings to this game left.
Back to hell, fiend, croaked the Emperor desperately.
I am like 7 minutes behind world record at this point, so I don't think I'll sub 2 unless I actually have good late game, especially considering my skills are all screwed up.
And sucked their souls out of their bodies. And Iblis exulted. It is finished. And the void that had been a mere stone on a sword expanded, stretched and ripped like a vast womb. And a gaze black and pitiless as the sun passed through the void into the land. And so time ended. And just like that, he was alive again. And back on the Farfarer, still fit.
Now, does that work? I'm pretty sure that's how they do it on PC, but I just quit while the game was saving. What is that going to do? Maybe it still saves properly.
The clouds
Yeah, it looks like it does.
of Boreas. It was time to choose. The rebellion was in trouble. Ravens were scouting for the secret rebel base. They needed a game changer. Pieces of the Sky Ripper had surfaced. Renata knew that using it could go catastrophically wrong. But he was sure he could figure out how to use it safely. Also, a temple had risen out of the empty desert. The Iblis stone was hidden there. It was a dangerous artifact.
Like, this cutscene is one that I really wish you could skip, especially, like,
Maybe you could find a way to use
I mean, this cutscene was very, very annoying, even in casual play when I was just going for all the endings, because this was like
friend Lapino needed rescue.
a full minute long cutscene, and it's nothing new. It's the same thing every time.
As he set foot in the island,
It's hard to say. I'm trying to judge my pace. I feel like I could technically still be sub 2 pace, but then again, my bad skill set might screw that over.
he hoped they hadn't eaten him. If they had, he hoped they hadn't eaten him.
I'll see ya. Assuming that's what you mean.
Renata never made plans that required constant vigilance. He was a hero. He didn't think too much. He just went with his gut and hoped it all worked out. The Sky Ripper was a long shot. He'd have to devote himself to it. No side journeys, no rescuing.
Oh my god, yeah, this game is pretty bad at some points. Like, that's something that's happened quite a few times in casual play as well, where there's just no reason for it, but for some reason the thing kills you, even though you killed it long before it could possibly see you.
Say goodnight, Gracie.
Yeah, this is... I'm gonna lose minutes here for sure.
Gracie was. people who
It's
had built
pretty
these
bad,
cities
but that's just the way the game works.
even know what monstrous
Sometimes.
weapon lay hidden within their walls. The Sky Ripper could destroy anything.
Okay, I just broke all of that and didn't get anything. Good.
As the Transcendent Emperor had fought the lost gods, thousands had died. But Renato
Yeah, at this point I might as well just go for more health,
the only
but
merciful war was a short one.
that's not really a good idea. But there's really nothing else for me to do with it at this point, because I don't think I'll get enough levels to get the other thing.
Some way to break the ice with this wall, so to speak.
Oh my god, I can't fight right now. Two health. I was never in any danger. Right? Well, you know, that's probably not the worst place to die, considering. I think I might just have to get used to the way the fighting in this game works over time, because I'm really bad at it right now. It's mainly because, like, I played it a while with all the skills, or all the important skills anyway, and playing the game from scratch for speedrun purposes is a lot different, because you can't just attack the shield guys.
You'd have to ask a scientist.
It's like, once you have all the skills, maybe it's not even the skills, maybe it's just an upgraded sword, but once you have something, you can just attack the shield guys without worrying about it, but you can't do that here. You have to remove their shields somehow. Or apparently you can attack them from behind, but that doesn't work very well generally.
That made no sense at all. He'd already sacrificed one friend to get this armature, was it? He didn't need to hurry to face her. She would find him.
I might have to do another run of this, like, immediately, just because I feel like I should be able to beat this time, especially since I screwed around with the wrong stats. Feels like it would be better to not do that.
It had been a dozen years since Sorfu's school. He'd followed every rumor about her, every
Since I thought health would be pretty useful, but I don't know, it kinda isn't.
solely because know your enemy.
And it will be even less useful once I get used to the fighting and stop dying so much to that.
How she felt about it. But their love affair always ended with a tragic death. Unless maybe he could find a way to dodge tragedy. Surely he could. Couldn't he? Renato felt a little better.
I don't know if that health was really worth all the dashing back it took to get it.
He couldn't do worse with Zenobia than he'd done with the core, could he?
That was not a good way to go. That's not what I even meant to do, but that was not good.
How he was going to capture Zenobia. She'd be expecting him. And he didn't have Lapino to cook up a clever plan. Why was it again that he hadn't got the core? Maybe because the results tended to be disastrous. These streets were familiar. The Swordful School was closed now. He had been down that street 1,000 times. He knew that pub. He knew that alley. He knew the alley.
I just wanted to not die there. That was mainly what I was concerned with.
Zenobia had chosen to invade this island herself. Renato slipped through Zenobia's ship, making no sound at all. Where were her guards? Finally,
That makes no sense. It's a trap.
shouted the Emperor.
I'll meet you at the outpost, and I'll bring my interrogators.
If Renato came face to face with the Emperor, maybe he could assassinate him. But maybe it would be smarter and safer to turn Zenobia against her father. You were lying.
Alright. I'm pretty sure that's the right choice. I don't actually understand why that split I named that. I feel like I could come up with a better split name that's a better indication of what I'm supposed to do. I should stop trying to mash the skip cutscene button before the cutscenes because that's already broken the game twice this run.
Zenobia had been taking him to the Imperial outpost. She'd never expect him to go there by himself. Well, maybe she would. You never knew with her. Renato danced around the room yelling, "Oh yeah, that's how we do it." It was something he liked to do, but only after he'd killed all the witnesses. Renato knew Zenobia, and Zenobia knew him. She'd suspected a trick. Now he'd vanished. She would probably guess that was his plan all along. Perfect. Maybe she wouldn't use the Sky River. At least not without taking it to the scientists at the observatory first. Meanwhile, the Emperor would be coming to the outpost personally. This could be good.
Okay, there's some health drops. Whether that's actually gonna help me, it's hard to say, but got a few health drops out of it, I guess.
Renato was face to face with the Emperor's bodyguard. They looked very tough, but the Emperor held him back. Oh, well, that's a job well done, thought Renato. Now the fleet will be in all sorts of disarray.
Alright, I'm approximately 2 entire levels behind world record.
Used to go to the mountains to hide from the
I don't think that's gonna happen on my first run.
turn her against her father. Or maybe he could reap the benefits of the chaos he had sown. It was time to report to the Rebel Council, and then launch the attack on a divided and very confused Imperial fleet. Renato wondered if he'd really fooled the Empire. He guessed he'd know soon enough. If the skies darkened with 1,000 dropships, then he'd know the Empire believed his map at the Rebel base's secret location.
Trying to get health drops, but I don't know if any of this stuff can actually drop health. Didn't seem like it, but
These days,
maybe I just got bad luck.
smoke burns fur. Imagine getting a horse up in one of these things. It would be cursing a blue streak.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should just stop trying to get health. Doesn't seem like... Okay, there's a little bit of health. That helps. Not a lot, but it helps.
Maybe the Emperor would attack Zenobia. The Ravens, divided into two armies, would slaughter each other. Or the Heaven could just show up and claim victory.
Figured that would happen. I just didn't think to do anything about it.
See? It was actually very fine weather. Except for the occasion.
Yeah, I kind of figured I was going to do something like that, but...
Burning the ruins down with the mighty power of a god's eye. If the Empire believed anything he'd said, they certainly weren't showing it. Well, the eyes have had it.
That was not a good way to go through there. I might have to learn the actual route to get through those guys without taking that ridiculous amount of damage.
It was on fire. So far, so good.
Not sure why I'm still alive.
I swore it was only let you through if they knew you were cool.
Is it really important why I'm still alive? I guess not. I can't get any health drops while this cutscene's going, can I? No, there's nothing that could possibly drop health out here. I didn't think so.
The Rebel Council, he began to realize they weren't laughing, just staring at him with those big bug eyes. Zenobia, let you
Oh right, you can't skip this cutscene for sure.
the speaker.
Right.
How do we know you're not a double agent?
Then I wouldn't tell you about her at all.
Maybe you're trying to sound like an idiot, so we don't realize how clever you are.
Croaked the speaker. No, I promise you, I really am that much of an idiot. Renato was about to say when a half-dozen Imperial ships began to bomb the base. He's betrayed us! Croaked the toads, and Renato decided it would be good to be somewhere else. He boarded the Farfarer and got out of there. The wind ruffled Renato's fur the wrong way. So, the rebels thought he was lying too? Because a half-dozen lousy dropships that probably just tripped over the rebel base? Okay, technically, he had betrayed its location, but not willingly. And he'd made up for it, hadn't he? Then, something exploded. A cannon shot. The Farfarer plunged out of the clouds. The rebels had hit his ship. As the Farfarer plummeted towards the abyss, he launched himself into the sails of an Imperial ship.
Alright, let's just try to finish this off and see how well it goes. I think this is the area where I was able to get one fight skip last time.
The Farfarer was gone.
So we'll see if that was a fluke or if I can do it again, and then we'll see if I can actually learn how to do the other one.
12 furlongs. So the salesman had told him. He would show them. He would be the hero of the final battle. They'd know whose side he was on then. That's what it meant to be a hero. To go on fighting, even when both sides were trying to kill you.
Okay. Yeah, that one's not too hard once you know what you're doing, or almost know what you're doing.
There was a side.
You just go nice and carefully. This one, I have less of an idea of what to do. I guess that works. Okay. I understand now. I understand how to get those two fight skips. Good. That'll help on future runs, especially in early game where my PB doesn't know how to do those. It'll be some nice time save.
Just as well. He liked acting much better than pondering.
That was bad. Did not expect to have problems with that. But that's not really a terrible spot to die. That only wasted like 10 seconds or something, and it gave me some health. I could, but then where would my time save be on future runs? I'm just thinking of the future here. Gotta leave some time saved for next run, so I gotta die like a few times on every story.
Finally, Renato reached the Emperor's ship, and there he saw a strange sight. Zenobia being led in shackles by Lapino with a squad of ravens. What? Lapino was working with the ravens? Was he some sort of traitor? And the Emperor still thought Zenobia was a traitor.
But hello, Anasper, and good point.
Renato felt oddly bad about that. Did he run down there and rescue her? Oh, but she was the enemy. Then he heard a whistling sound. He looked straight up and saw a rebel ship. It was dropping rather large bombs. One of them kept getting bigger as it fell. Huh? Oh. Oh, damn it. He lost again. And died. But there... The clouds parted over the Isles of Boreas. It was time to choose. The rebellion was in trouble. Ravens were scouting for the secret rebel base. They needed a game changer. Pieces of the Sky Ripper had surfaced. Renato knew that using it could go catastrophically wrong. But he was sure he could figure out how to use it safely. Also, a temple had risen out of empty desert. The Iblis stone was hidden there. It was a dangerous artifact. It could corrupt its user into a bloodthirsty monster. Maybe we could find a way to use it.
Alright, so if I had to take a guess at what my final time's going to be at this point, I would probably... I don't know, I'm gonna guess 2:05. It could be very far off, but we'll see.
Renato finally realized that Lapino was a traitor to the cause, and maybe Renato could use that somehow. Renato couldn't quite put his paw on when he realized Lapino was working for the Empire. He'd never exactly seen Lapino sending coded messages to the palace, but he was sure. The rabbit had been on too many disastrous missions where he was the only survivor, or where he accidentally missed getting on the boat that went down to the abyss in flames. If Renato could prevent Lapino from getting back to the fleet with all the intelligence he'd probably gathered, then it might be worth the trip.
Trying to think of where that one fight skip I was thinking of earlier actually is in the story. I don't think I ran into it. Is that not actually a thing? Did I imagine it? Or is it on this chapter? Or on this ending? Might be on this ending, but I can't think where it would be.
He would talk Renato out of prison at least 4 times, and Renato had rescued Lapino from at least 2 lynch mobs.
I don't know, maybe it is on this ending. I guess we'll find out.
But he'd always felt that the rabbit resented him. Lapino was hilarious because he was so down on himself and everyone else. But behind the lines, he wasn't a happy camper. It was his payback. What did the Empire have his little white tail in a vice? He missed his old skills. He welcomed them back like he was at a reunion.
Oh, there is a stairway over there. Oops. I don't know how I didn't see that.
First, the rabbit would give the Empire all the intelligence he'd been stealing from the rebellion, and they'd probably give him a medal. He'd have to be very careful about how he played a piece. At the slightest inch of danger, the mad rabbit would take off again. Rabbit. Done rather well, actually.
I'm just gonna act like I don't need any health drops for anything.
Bloody and exhausted, Renato finally
If I believe it, it'll become true.
was practicing shuffling his favorite deck. Oh, I am. The Ravens are coming. Now, I've got a clever plan to kidnap Zenobia. Renato wanted to clap shackles on the rabbit and shout, "You're a traitor, and I'm not falling for it." But if there was one thing Renato was sure of, it was that the core of the Sky River was dangerous mostly to its user. If he could put it in the Emperor's hands, old Lysander III might blow himself and his fleet up with it. Yes, that was it.
For some reason, that is actually the solution. The true ending in this game requires quite a few completely illogical choices to get to. Like letting your enemy get a hold of 2 super weapons.
What? Now, all Renato had to do was find his way through Zenobia's invading troops, sneak
I don't see why anybody would think that was a good idea.
without any of her dozens of guards alerting her. Then, he would rely on her love for him to convince her how evil her father was. So she'd run away with him instead of going back to her father, who was going to blow himself up. It did sound a little risky. But Renato had a feeling it would work out somehow. It always did. Come over here.
Okay, I must have thrown that guy off the ledge. Thought I might have. Sometimes it's really hard to tell if you throw someone near the ledge or off of it.
Hey, why don't you guys fight in groups? I know, because there's no I in team. Renato was halfway to Zenobia's encampment when Lapino showed up. Disheveled and distraught. They jumped us. I barely got away. Oh, they got the core. Oh, it was all going according to plan, thought Renato. Now he just needed Zenobia on his side. Yes, that was even better. The Iblis Stone.
Good cutscene.
Zenobia could get it. And then the Emperor would have to pursue them. Wait. No. The gem would corrupt anyone. Even her. That's it, he thought. Even Lapino. Even though Lapino was already a traitor. It would turn him against his secret master, the Emperor. He would try to make himself Emperor. and the Emperor would have to defend himself with the core. Boom. He was a super genius. This is terrible, Bernardo told the rabbit. If only I had gone for the Iblis stone. But now it's lost in enemy territory. He handed Lupino a map. It gives the
I could use the workbench here during the cutscene, but I didn't actually take the route that gives you a gem, so that doesn't do anything.
said Lupino.
Although it doesn't lose me time to look at this menu.
I didn't hear anything. Rabbit ears. You go on ahead. I'll check it out.
Doesn't actually lose me time, but there's no benefit to it because I didn't pick up a gem to equip. Yeah, the illogical choices are the best ones once you unlock the ability to get the true ending.
Bernardo slinked through Zenobia's ship, making no sound at all. She was
Maybe the reason the true story is so long is just because you can't skip the cutscenes.
how beautiful she was.
Which is funny because in this cutscene,
He tapped her on the shoulder.
it shows a prompt that you can press circle to skip it, but you can't actually skip this cutscene.
Blade to his throat. Did you really think you could capture me? Heard a familiar voice. I just wanted to chat, said Bernardo. Did you ever wonder why the Emperor adopted you? He needs a sacrifice. Someone who truly loves him, to make a bargain with the lost gods. That's a vicious lie. He wants to bring them back. That's crazy. Why would anyone... They could make him immortal. An eater of souls. And with that, her eyes widened. She understood. Bernardo told her how he had rescued a priest whose order had been massacred. How he had slept in a burnt village. At midnight, the Emperor's victims had come to him in his dreams to tell him of the hideous eldritch rituals they'd been sacrificed in. He could still see those kittens and puppies. Their wide, sad eyes, their moist noses. You can't prove that. I've got a witness at the observatory.
I think for next run I'm going to have to remember where all the fight skips are and when they're coming up in the run. On the cutscene before, I might have to look at how they're done. Seems like it's probably the way to go.
Good thing Renato didn't have vertigo.
Because they seem like they're kind of important.
The rebellion had started after
Like they probably add up to a decent bit of time, even though just one of them isn't that big of a deal.
had been massacred for one book. He had slept in a burnt village. Dead kittens and puppies had come to tell him what the Emperor had done to them.
Like I think this spot up here is one of the fights you can skip. I just have no idea how or where to go to do it. Yeah, that didn't work. And this is actually a pretty long fight too, so being able to skip that would be very useful. It doesn't help that I did that fight very poorly, but even if I did it well, I think that's still a pretty long fight. That's not the best spot to avoid that. Or
Ordinary cannonballs were
pull that lever. probably do it in a way that doesn't get me hurt next time. Yeah, sometimes it seems like the shield enemies can attack without it actually giving you the warning, but maybe it's just hard to see sometimes. Like, maybe if they attack from far enough away, I just don't really see it. Like, it's happened a few times here. Yeah, I can't really see now because I'm at 5 health. So I'm probably going to die like another at least 2 or 3 times in this run.
The observatory was a burning hulk. Dead scientists and black feathers everywhere. The Ravens had taken special care to burn the reanimated witness to cinders. So, Bernardo...
Oh, you can skip that cutscene. Whoops. I wasn't really ready for that. Probably lost a couple seconds to it.
Provoked the Emperor into using the core against him, thus blowing up both of them, and hopefully the fleet too.
Let me visit your council, she said, shaken. I want to help.
Could we really trust her?
Oh wait, I just remembered, like, that the fight skip I was thinking of earlier, it was already in... No, wait. I don't think it was in that chapter, never mind, I'm still very confused. It would be in this chapter, or I've already done it, or gotten past that point and just completely didn't realize. It's not in this chapter, it can't be, this isn't the right area for that.
Had he made a mistake?
I'm just very confused. Well, I thought there was another enemy there. I was trying to attack a different enemy, but the other enemy must have somehow died. So I instead wound up attacking the bomb, and that I wound up being near the bomb. Which, although I wasn't in the hitbox that the game indicates, I guess if you're just a little bit outside of the hitbox, it can still hit you. So I'm very likely to die again, because that took like half of my health. Also, nothing drops health anymore, apparently. Oh, there we go. There's a little bit. That'll help. That looked like more than 2 health drops, but I guess it wasn't. So I guess it was really just a little bit of health. Right. Now here I need to be careful because I really can't take damage here or I'm going to die again.
On the side of the path, and Renato could smell a familiar, sweet, smoky scent. Who? Zenobia.
But I think this is kind of cycle-based. I feel like... Oh, crap. Okay, well, this is bad.
She hated her father now. She'd kill him for sure. The council wouldn't mind if she killed the Emperor, but murdering her father would destroy her.
I don't know where I'm... Alright, that's just the game being bad there. There's no reason for me to take damage. I was clearly nowhere in its path when I killed him. But that does happen sometimes in this game. Okay, that was my fault. Apparently that one does walk up to the point where the lever is, so... I guess what I should have... You know what, I don't even know if that would have worked, so I'm not going to say it. Never mind. Just... I don't know if what I'm thinking of would even help. possible, but I don't think it's that likely that it would actually work the way I would need it to. Can you hit the shield off? This is bad. Alright, so I said I was going to die at least 2 or 3 times, and it's likely I'm going to die the 3rd time of that here, so chances are I'm going to die more than I said I was going to die.
Boat crashes that were more fun.
Alright, so I have like, I don't know, once the cutscenes are done, I probably only have like 4, well, maybe 6 minutes left to do this last area. If I can do the fight skips, maybe I can get sub 2 this run.
Shivering in the courtyard. Why? You mad?
If I can't do the fight skips though, it probably won't be. We'll see what happens.
The stone did. What did you take it from the Pinot?
Either way, this was a fun run, and I'm looking forward to the next one. To save some time, because clearly it's pretty easy to save some time on this run. I died a bunch of times, and I picked the complete wrong skills because I thought it would help, but really it just made everything worse.
I'll kill you too.
So next time I'm just going to pick the right skills, which will help a lot in the late game. So even though I haven't even done this split yet, I should say that, or even though I haven't done this split yet, it seems like it should kind of go without saying that I'll save time here next run.
The Empire had
Even if it goes pretty well,
have to take it back.
I should be able to save time on it next run. Because the final fight, I should be able to save a bunch of time if I have this skill that kills enemies in one hit. Would also make me less likely to die on it a bunch of times. Like I'm probably going to here.
The portal that led right into the middle of the fleet. It was a glaring weakness in the defense.
Here's that ship that doesn't load properly until you're on it for like 2 seconds. It's a good video game. Trust me. Okay, I did not see the last 2 attacks coming. That was bound to happen. It's fine, I get health now.
Hey, who do I want to kill to get a drink around here? You? Okay.
Really? Where are these attacks coming from? It doesn't seem to be warning me about most of these. So, I've pretty much already died again. Well, hopefully I can get this fight skip or I'm going to just die some more. Well, I fell off the ship. It's bound to happen at least once this run. Okay, well. This is gonna be kinda close, I think. It's gonna be probably sub 205 unless the final fight's a train wreck, which it very well could be. Oh, I'm still alive, and now I'm not. I'm so surprised at half the time being still alive that it results in me dying because I'm not paying enough attention. Maybe I would just be better off not being alive at that point to begin with. That was really only 1 health drop. Damn. Yeah, most of these ravens have shields at this point, which really makes the fights a lot more difficult. Especially when they just jump through walls of your defenses to attack you. This is really... I'm doing really badly at these fights. I wouldn't be surprised if I died another couple times. I'd be surprised if I only died another couple times at this point. With the way I'm fighting right now, the final fight is going to be impossible. I'm just playing really badly. I just have to, like, focus, pay some attention, don't screw up as much as I have been. Just block attacks. That should be my focus. Avoiding taking damage. Oh, for Christ's sake. Where am I? Run! There's too much going on. Oh god, there's still so many of them. Run. Okay. Yeah, the final fight is really quite insane. It's a massive difficulty spike for sure. There's no other way to put it. There is no other fight at all in the entire game that's anything like this one. It's funny, it just starts off with 2 enemies. And then it continues with just 2 more normal enemies, but then they just keep piling on. And then they start spawning more waves before the wave you're on is even finished. Okay, we did it. Second try final fight, I guess, isn't bad for a first run. 158. That's good for second place, apparently. I'll take it.